The formula is the following. It is M1, which represents the concentration, the molarity of the concentrated solution, times its volume, V1, and that is equal to the concentration of the now dilute solution, which is represented here, times V2. I'm going to show you really quickly where this formula came from. Please don't allow this to confuse you. All right? If you remember, to find molarity, you take moles and you divide it by the volume. So the units would be moles over liters, okay, times volume. The units for volume are typically liters, but not always. And that equals moles over liters times liters. Now, if you notice here, your liters cancel. And so what this formula is actually telling you is that the number of moles of solute that you started with the stock solution, with the concentrated solution, is the same as the number of moles as the dilute solution. And that makes sense. Go back to the orange juice example. If I have super concentrated orange juice, I'm not going to end up with more orange juice if I add water to this. It's just going to be more dilute. So that's where this formula comes from. It's telling you you still have the same amount of moles of solute from the concentrated even when you dilute it, because you're just adding water. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to work through this example problem with you. It says, what is the molarity of a solution prepared when 75 mils of a 4.00 molar solution is diluted to a volume of 500 mils? So what this tells me is that 75.0 milliliters is my volume of my concentrated solution. So that's my V1. 4.00 is the molarity of my concentrated solution because it hasn't been diluted, so that would be my M1. And finally, 500 milliliters would be my V2 because that's the volume of my dilute solution. So all I have to do now is take this formula, M1V1 equals M2V2, and now I'm going to plug in what I know. So I know that my molarity of my concentrated solution is 4.00 molar. I know that the volume is 75.0 milliliters. I don't know my new molarity of my dilute solution, so I will just write it as M2. And my volume is going to be 500 milliliters because I added a lot of water. I added 425 milliliters of water. Now, unit-wise, I'm going to walk you through this briefly. My molar, the units of concentration, remain there because there are no molars on the other side yet. My milliliters cancel, and so I know for my final answer, when I solve for this, I know that my units for molarity, for concentration, must be molar. So what I want you to do right now is take this 4.00 times 75.0, which equals your M2 times 500. I want you to solve for M2. You need to be careful to make sure to have the correct number of significant figures and to include the units. And that's all you need to do.